full commentary at the Tottenham West Ham game. Just want to make that clear.
No, I turned it off, actually. I was listening.
Yeah.
Absolute disgrace.
Whoever that is, sack them right
I'm not a fan at all.
now. But it was interesting hearing Chris Hull there right at the end of the City ground saying that it could be 2 points drop for Arsenal. A 0-0 draw at strugglers Nottingham Forest was described as a point gained rather than 2 lost, though, by manager Mikel Arteta. The leaders could have gone 9 points clear at the top of the Premier League with a win at the City ground, of course. Instead, their advantage is just 7.
Obviously disappointed because we wanted the 3 points, and that's the way we prepared the game and the way we tried from the beginning till the end. We haven't conceded a single shot. We created 4 big chances with Martinelli, an empty goal, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Mikel Merino. On top of that, there is a clear penalty that is not being given. And the rest is as well credit to the opposition. That's how they make it difficult for you, how they change momentum in the game. And at the end, we wanted to win it, and we haven't managed to do it.
What do you think, Rory? Do you think it's a point dropped or 2 points dropped or a point gained here by Arsenal, given the fact that Villa lost and Man City lost?
I think some Arsenal fans, have forgotten how to win a Premier League title. There's actually a generation of Arsenal fans that don't know how to win a Premier League title. But I think that their reaction to certain results of late have demonstrated that they've completely forgotten what it takes to win a Premier League title. It's never easy winning a league. There is always an ebb and a flow to a title race, unless you are very lucky and the creme de la creme in Premier League history. There is always a few jittery moments. There will always be a few uncomfortable results. And I feel like the kind of results that they've been getting at the moment are decent results. If you take away the context, they're certainly good results. So, for example, they got a point against the champions. They went mad. They very recently went away to Nottingham Forest, a Sean Dyche-inspired Nottingham Forest team, to take on a team at the City ground, a team that had just watched West Ham United earlier that day win, so they were even more buoyant. And again, Arsenal got a point. Now, I've got a lot of Arsenal fans in my life, right? I'm from a part of London, very Arsenal heavy. And I kind of understand the anxiety about Guardiola, right? I get it. I get why there is an anxiousness to them. What I do not get is the anger. You can't come away from a point at the City ground when over the course of the day you have extended your lead at the top of the league to 7 points.
No, but it could have been more, though. I kind of
Everything
understand
could have been
it.
more. It could have been less.
But you talk about the context, though. Is there not an importance to the psychological context of it all if they do move 9 points clear? It's like you've dropped points, we've gained all 3, we're moving away from you. And instead, it ends with quite a disappointing end to the weekend, despite the fact that they've actually earned a point and moved further clear.
Well, surely they had a reprieve. Because had Man City beaten Manchester United, then it would be, then I think we could be talking in catastrophe. But I just feel like, honestly, as a fan of a side that's won a lot of league titles in my adult life, I kind of know what it takes to win league titles. And what it takes going away to some very tough grounds and nicking a point, sometimes securing a point that you don't deserve. When the champions come to your home ground, and yeah, they had injuries and whatever else, but they played really well. And again, you don't get beat. Like, you combine everything that happened this weekend. I don't really see how it's not a glorious weekend for Arsenal, but they moved from a 6-point cushion to a 7-point cushion, and they now have one less game to play.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there's 22 games played, you're 7 points clear.
It's a dream.
I think it is that anxiety, though, isn't it? It is that sense.
Yeah, there is an anxious quality to Arsenal, and I kind of understand why. Like, we're talking about being 7 points clear, right? 2023, they were 8 points clear. City had a game in hand, but they were 8 points clear. Maybe in May. Certainly in April, if I remember rightly, right? So I do understand why they would be slightly concerned, and they're aware of the genius of Guardiola, and they're aware of the relentlessness of City. But everything that we've learned about this City team suggests that there is no relentlessness. You're projecting onto them your vision of them that isn't from an educated standpoint of them this season.
Well, they have now brought in the Crystal Palace captain Mark Gahey as well for £20 million. Will that, for you, make enough of an impact for this Man City, this version of Man City, to chase down that 7-point lead?
Yeah, 7 points is obviously not insurmountable.
It's chaseable.
It's obviously not insurmountable. No, there is something symbolic about double digits, I think. You know, if it gone 10...
Unless you're Newcastle. 12 points clear.
Yeah, there's something symbolic about double digits unless you're Newcastle. Like I think that if they'd won the 2 games where earlier in the day, I think Man City dropped points to Brighton, Arsenal didn't win. Man City dropped points to Man United, Arsenal didn't win. If they had turned those 2 draws into victories and then double digits clear, I think, you can kind of start talking about it being insurmountable. It's not insurmountable now. The question isn't, is 7 points there for the taking? Of course it is. The question is, can Man City do what they've done previously? Like, can they go... back in the day, we were talking about like 10, 12, 15 games unbeaten.
Well, winning.
Winning, in fact.
Yeah.
Winning, in fact. It's not that anymore. It's can they win 5 on the spin?
Yeah.
Can Gahey bring a quality to them, a power to them, a calmness to them? And I think the answer to all of the above is yes.
Yeah, it's funny as well with Arsenal, isn't it? They are 7 points clear, and they have played well at times this season, and they're very strong defensively. Of course they are, but it's funny, isn't it? When you kind of look at that attack, I don't think Saka has had his best season by any stretch. Gyökeres, I think, for me, has just been a complete flop. And then, Trossard actually has put in some really decent performances. Martinelli's been okay, but it's hard. You hardly think about that front three and think, wow, Premier League champions, they've been unstoppable.
No, you don't. They're more of a unit than that. I think on some definition, it would be the worst forward line to have ever won a Premier League title.
Potentially, yeah.
It would be.
Yeah.
There isn't a worse forward line. Like most forward lines that win a league title, it's Duff, Robben, Drogba. It's Pires, Henry, Bergkamp.
Salah, Mane,
Firmino. Dwight York, Andy Cole, obviously. And then Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo. This would be the worst. But the quality of football in general at the moment isn't great. So it doesn't have to be as good as Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez. The beauty of Arsenal as well isn't about their attack. It's not what they're about. They're a very miserly back line. They're a very physical side. Their physicality is what sets them apart. And they're the best of a bad bunch. It's not a good league. It's not a good Premier League at the moment. We're not good teams.
No.
You look at the teams that are potentially going to finish in the top 4.
So
like Man United are probably going to do it. And you think about them this season. Yeah. There's certainly a world where Chelsea could do it with Liam Rossini as manager. Like, it's not a great league. But Arsenal fans shouldn't care about that. Doesn't matter how bad the league is, you win the league.
Yeah, as man.
And I still think they will, by the way. After everything we've said here, I think it would be a catastrophe for them to not win it. They're 7 points clear of a Man City team that in consecutive games dropped points. Sunderland, Brighton, Chelsea, Man United. Who's losing a league to them?
Yeah, if they don't win it this year, then just pack it in, I reckon. Honestly. Because this is the chance now.
There's a chance.
I think before, you're right, we were talking about a completely different beast in Manchester City. You had the anomaly of Liverpool last year. They have to go on and win it, Arsenal. And if they don't, I'm sorry, but that has got to be it for Mikel Arteta, because I don't really see any way forward after that. One thing I did find quite interesting, though, Rory, is the League Cup game against Chelsea, which they won 3-2. And by the way, I do think that they should be going and fighting on all fronts in terms of getting silverware. Of course they should. And they've got a really good chance of winning the League Cup, by the way. And one of the criticisms of Mikel Arteta is that his trophy cabinet obviously isn't that expansive at Arsenal for various reasons. Having said that, he started Saka in that game and then didn't start him against Nottingham Forest. Do you think it's a bit strange, despite the fact that it is a semi-final in a cup competition, that he's starting his best player in that game and not thinking, well, there could be a chance with the Carrick factor of Man City dropping points. Do I need to play my best team in the league because we're going for a title?
I think Arteta should have played his best team in both games. I think Chelsea in a semi-final is a massive game. And when you're going for the league, Forest is a massive game. Chelsea's situation, I think the Chelsea hierarchy are absolute idiots, like dunces. And an example to prove that they're dunces is because they prioritised Brentford over Arsenal. Like, if you're playing Arsenal in a semi-final at Stamford Bridge and then Brentford in the league, obviously Arsenal is the biggest game that season. Arsenal don't have the luxury of prioritising, really. I did think that the Arsenal team was a bit weak. Yeah. And you could see the desperation by the end, when he launched everyone on. But in Arteta's favour here, and I don't really believe that... I think he got it wrong. I'm going to openly say he got it wrong with the starting lineup. But he can't have predicted that Martinelli was going to... Martinelli's just not good enough, is he? He's not consistent enough anyway to win a league title. And that's why you look at that front line and you think, if Arsenal don't win the league, the reasoning really is that apart from Bukayo Saka, everybody isn't good enough.
Just quickly on the Manchester derby, by the way, we've got to mention Manchester United and Michael Carrick. Brilliant first game for him, of course, and really good performance for Manchester United. As much as City were poor, I thought that is the best performance I've seen from a Manchester United team in so long. The thing that I'm finding a bit strange, Rory, and you know this is going to be a huge dilemma for them, is the fact that Michael Carrick now only has to focus on the Premier League. It's the only thing he needs to worry about. They're out of all other competitions. They're not in Europe. So you can feasibly see, like you've just said there, that there are so many inconsistent teams in the Premier League at the moment. Michael Carrick does a great job, gets Manchester United 3rd, 4th or 5th, is widely praised, right? And then you get to the summer and all the fans say, well, why would we get rid of him? He's brilliant. And then you give him a campaign where he's in the Champions League and they're back in all these competitions, and you maybe, let him pick some transfers of his own.
What are you saying?
If that goes wrong, they've done it again. And it will end up with Michael Carrick being sacked in November, and they have to restart everything.
I completely disagree with this. I think your vision is the majority vision. I think most people agree with you, but I disagree with you.
Is that because
if Michael Carrick takes Manchester United into the Champions League, he should 100% be a candidate for the job.
Be a candidate or get the job?
Potentially get it, but be a candidate. I don't know who else is available. If he's up against Luis Enrique, then he doesn't get it. But if he's up against Iraola, then yeah, why not? I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. People go, well, they made this mistake with Solskjaer, and therefore what? Therefore what? You never give the job again to somebody who takes a job on an interim basis.
My point is, it just gives another dilemma for them this summer that just feels so unnecessary. Why don't you just go out right now and try and lure another brilliant manager to the?
It's very difficult now. It's very difficult now, and I think that bringing in, look, I don't like this Ineos mob at all. I think they make a lot of mistakes, and I don't think that they have the interests of football at heart. So I certainly have no love for them. But like giving a job to Carrick, there was rationale to that. There was sensibility to that. Like it does, through one lens, make a lot of sense. You harmonise. Like there was a huge issue with factions. There was a huge destabilising quality to Ruben Amorim. The fans hated each other. The fans hated the ownership. The ownership hated the manager. The manager hated the sporting director. It was a mess. Carrick is a unifier. He's a legend who knows the standards of Manchester United, and he will create harmony, as we saw. Now, in terms of like going back to my often suggested meritocratic approach, right? If Michael Carrick, is a huge if, Michael Carrick takes Manchester United to 3rd in the league this year, 4th in the league this year, and they qualify for the Champions League next year, I think it's utter nonsense to say that he shouldn't take the job full time. Utter nonsense.
No, because I just think that the next season looks totally different to what he's dealing with right now, which is just the Premier League. And I think you're going to have a manager who's got no experience of a campaign like that, and you're expecting him to take Manchester United back to the top. I'm not saying Michael Carrick's incapable of doing it. I just think that Ineos need to have sat him down and said, look, no matter how well you do with the rest of this season, just be aware that you might not get this job full time.
I think your wording there is bang on.
But do you think they'll do that? They seem to make it up as they go along.
I think with Michael Carrick seems to me to be a very, very educated, understanding man. He seems to have his head firmly screwed on and understands the standards of Manchester United, and would probably concede, if he was totally honest with himself, that if Manchester United are to be the club that they're supposed to be, he isn't the manager at the moment, right? And I think he would admit that. But if you were to say to him now, listen, Michael, you get us into the Champions League and we're hoping to get Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique is the best manager in the world at the moment. Just taking a team to a treble for the first time in French history, right? If you said to Michael Carrick, it's going to be Enrique, I think Michael Carrick goes, absolutely. And shakes your hand and goes, no problem. But if you say it's going to be Oliver Glasner, if you say it's going to be Andoni Iraola, I think that Michael Carrick deserves to be in the room to present his case.
Interesting stuff.
And I'm right here, by the way. You can't give me that look. I know I'm right.
Okay.
You're just cynical.
Okay. I'm looking too far ahead into the future, mate, with my I'm catastrophizing for Manchester United fans, to be honest. This is the social here on talkSPORT 2 with William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. Next up, we're going to be joined by our resident Spurs fan, Sonny Snelling from Inside Spurs on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. There's reports that Thomas Frank is on thin ice in North London.
Merry Christmas, you Tottenham lemon.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.